Добрий день, шановні друзі. Український кризовий медіа-центр.
Dear friends, Ukrainian Crisis Media Center continues its work, and the next issue for discussion will be internally displaced persons, and we will discuss the following topic. The military actions in the east of Ukraine resulted in massive relocation of peaceful population, and a lot of people were forced to leave their households and to move somewhere, which resulted in increased poverty. And now there's internally displaced people. They face a lot of problems in their new places of residence. Many charity foundations try to provide assistance for looking for jobs, for temporary accommodation, for provision, and actually psychological support. Current project, the Spokesperson of Peaceful Life, is implemented with support of the German Embassy to Ukraine, and today we discuss this topic with Ms. Nataliya Klimova, head of the NGO Social Meridian, also Professor Liubov Kartashova, partner of the NGO Social Meridian, and with a with Mr. Andrei Kononenko, who is representative of the National Academy. At the beginning, I would like to give the floor to Ms. Nataliya Klimova, who initiated creation of the Social Meridian. At the very beginning, I would like to represent our NGO. We have been operating as an NGO for almost 1 year. But even before this, our team started to develop and implement projects aiming support to IDPs. And now, when we are fully established, we hope to establish cooperation with all the ministries which are involved into services to IDPs. Looking at the current situation, we observe much delays in changes of legislation, and unfortunately those vulnerable groups of IDPs which suffer hardships, they cannot wait for the change in legislation which would improve their situation. Quite often people do not know where to approach, to submit documents, to submit for social fees, to register as IDPs. Also, we provide assistance to the ATO participants' families, and quite often these IDPs who are families of the ATO participants, they are, so to say, double vulnerable because they have no place for residence, they cannot find jobs, the market is full, there are no vacancies for employment, nobody expected new people to arrive to these markets, including labor market, and that's why we target vulnerable groups, and in first turn we try to provide them with jobs. That's why we plan to create some enterprises where we will offer jobs for IDPs, for disabled people in result of military actions, And then another part of this project is residential construction for all these vulnerable groups in some regions of Ukraine. A bit later, we will present this construction projects. This will be several houses in Kiev Oblast, up to 25,000 square meters by the end of 2017. Also, we plan to launch several business projects, or better to say, employment projects. This will be production enterprises, production of construction materials. We already have allocated land plots for the construction of these production facilities, and this will be done for donor money. This won't be for profitable, this won't be the state or public organization. This will be just charity production facilities in order to employ all those people. Also, we plan to concentrate all the services for vulnerable groups in one center. Also, we try to provide centralized advice on the services available for IDPs, vulnerable groups in our country. We will try to fit with the existing legislation, not waiting for the moment when the legislation will be changed for a more favorable one. Also, we currently are creating a special online portal where people can fill in the application form, asking a question, and with these applications, we will approach to charity organizations which provide specific services for vulnerable groups. Also, on our portal, we will provide information about charity organizations, about state programs for vulnerable groups, and with an explanation how this will be, how this should be done properly with necessary documentation, application forms, etc. Also, we will offer personal advisors, like tutors for these applicants. Now about internet portal. Not all people in Ukraine have access to internet. Are we discussing the plans, or something is already implemented? By spring, we will have the website. As for printed publications, in mid-March, the printed bulletin, this will be like a monthly newsletter for IDPs with instructions where to apply. In late winter, early spring, this will become operational. As for accommodation projects, as for construction projects, by the end of 2017, we plan to finish this construction. As of today, the IDPs do the IDPs get any support from you? As of now, we have the lists of those who need accommodation by the end of the year. I described the plans, which will be launched from, which are now in pipeline, and these projects will become fully operational from spring and by the end of the next year. Unfortunately, the kickoff work, the preparatory work, took a lot of time, and the cooperation with the ministries appeared to be rather slow. I hope that by the end of the next year, we will see several houses and several enterprises for employment of IDPs. I also hope that very soon our educational project will be launched. Now we would like to appeal to the state enterprise, state organizations to contribute to launching of online training programs, because it is very important to provide people with accommodation and with jobs. Unfortunately, we are unable to provide housing absolutely free, only for very limited number of people. All the rest would require state funds. Let us give the floor to Ms. Liubov Kartashova.
I would like to tell you about the work in the framework of this project concerning education. I would like to cite Lilia Grinevich. She addressed the conference in Lviv. Lilia Grinevich said that those electronic resources, there are a lot of them in the world, and I would like to say that by our efforts, we made an electronic platform, she said about at this conference, and this electronic platform we developed is aimed to support electronic education. Distance learning included, and this support is needed for the regions of the East, and we developed several systems based on the instruments that is authentic and original, and based on this we developed distance learning programs. And on the 3rd of January we will present such a system in Krysky Lugansk Oblast School. IT volunteers will present it. They underwent the interview with the director, and now this school will work, and they developed electronic study, and we have this, and there is special system of distance learning. And also we developed e-libraries. This is not new, but the idea is that there is a special web library for schools, including the manuals and authentic materials presented by different teachers. So these systems and libraries, they are needed in the East. It improves quality of education. You know that many teachers and students went out of this region, and the teacher could contact easily with the kids, and all the materials that are needed They just can be given to the students. Home tasks can be presented, and everything the teacher needs and students needs. So this resource is needed for people who are IDPs from ATO area and elderly people who should be retrained to adapt in other communities. Also, we should remember about ATO participants who returned from the region of ATO where there is war, and they need to be retrained because there are disabled among them, and we should take care of them. And we know that this training is delivered, but we need a system, a separate institution in this. We should remember about IDP children who want to study in institutions they studied before. So this is global issues that can be solved through e-learning. I would like to say that a lot of time and effort we made, and we have this powerful instrument that was launched in Kiev and Kiev Oblast, Khmelnytsk Oblast, Lugansk Oblast, and in other regions. And it really works, but we do not have enough force. We need support. We need sponsors. We need support of the state. We need financial support, because the system should work, in my opinion, throughout Ukraine. And also in diaspora, we shouldn't forget about it. All of us need it. So we will present our project, and Mr. Kononenko is going to tell us about this project in more detail. Andrei, you're given the floor. Why this social educational network is needed? We wanted, together with our partners, we wanted to create the social network, educational network. We all speak about the future and those children who are in the occupied territories of Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast. They have the right to be educated. I worked for a long time in Lugansk Oblast in the sphere of education, and through this media a child can contact with any teacher who has his or her page in Odnoklassniki, Facebook, or any other system. So this is a simplified system, and each page of the teacher there is a personal study, and it is a study. It is simply to use, and for teachers, by 1-2 clicks, they have the opportunity to go into the study and work with the materials, to carry out tests, to carry out assessment, to ask or answer questions, to deliver continuous training. We can speak a lot about system of education. We have base schools. We are trying to cooperate with the Markivsky region, Donetsk-Lugansk region, Severodonetsk, and what the problem is and why we need to use such electronic systems and modern manuals. Because you know that financing is lacking for the publication of these manuals. There are a lot of conferences and trainings, and we may say that when you register, you go into educational world. There are some tasks to be completed, and they can communicate with other children, and Lugansk, Donetsk area children, they can get access to Ukrainian education. So it brings patriotism. So this is also delivered in higher educational institutions that were in Lugansk and Donetsk area, and then they were moved to other regions. Parents ask where their children can be educated. So there are tasks, and children can do these tasks in their notebooks, and so for children it is really difficult to get access to education in real world, so it is easier to provide electronic education for those children, and any person who has some competence in IT, they can create additional materials, they can add and create groups in some subjects. So briefly it is like this. Thank you, Andrei. And I have a question. Please tell us, did you use in this program renowned programs of distance learning that exist in the system of education now? No, we do not use these programs of distance learning because these programs, for example, Moodle, they need a lot of effort to train teachers. We don't have this time. That's why we created in Joomla such a study that is simplified. We are not speaking about the overall system of distance learning, but we develop constantly. We do not need to train teachers. It doesn't take much time. 3 or 4 hours, teachers start to work, and it creates interactivity, and this method can be considered as unique and innovative. I would like to say
that our resource is the unique one. It was developed by our experts in educational technologies, and our prerequisite was that usually our teachers are not computer experts. They can just work in the MS Word software, and they are able to work in internet. That's why we try to adapt the internet possibilities to the level of computer literacy among our teachers. Working in the personal cabinets, they will raise their IT competencies via practice. My next question is to Ms. Nataliya. What is the stage of readiness of the sites for IDPs who is developing this website, and how many project participants do you have about Social Meridian? Social Meridian exists as a team of our volunteers, and also as a union of NGOs, uniting 12 NGOs and volunteer organizations and sponsor organizations. The online platform is being developed by our partners, IT Association. We have Mikhailo Krynica, who is here in this room today. The stage, I cannot call this stage of readiness the final stage, but in late January or in February, we expect to have it accessible. I hope it will be as easy as the training websites, what you described. Thank you. And a further question. where we will be able to find you on a website or on social network. Now we have we have site on Facebook, also social Meridian you may try, and you can find our partners and access to our partners. And I would like to add about this educational program. As of today, we have got the approval of the Ministry of Education for our training program, and now I would like to apply to sponsor organizations and to our state. Please allow us to launch this training program, this educational program for IDPs. They are very much, this program is very much required. I had spent more than a year in the state administration in Donetsk Oblast, and I know the difficult situation when people cannot leave their homes while there are no teachers at schools. Thank you very much. We are running out of our time, and now I would like to give an opportunity to the audience to ask your questions. Please mention your name. So for training, you will need stable internet connection. In those regions, maybe the internet connection is unstable. I think this is very important. In Luhansk and Donetsk Oblast, there are problems. Could you please repeat? Alina Vichuk, Pedagogical Institute of the Academy of Pedagogical Sciences. I'm also multimedia textbooks, and I cooperate with the Rozumniki trademark. We had testing of multimedia textbooks in the entire Ukraine. This text will allow to develop good product.
Є комп'ютер в школі, тобто доступ є. Моє запитання.
My question. For online training, it is very important that 3G internet connection would be stable. How to ensure that in Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast we could ensure there's internet connection. Thank you. There are problems with TV broadcasting, with radio broadcasting, while there is no problems with internet. All the schools in gray area, they have internet. I would like to add, we developed a system for Kritska school. Children of this students of the school live in gray area, and when I ask them about the situation with internet, they said no problem with internet. Mr. Gurshi, Vice President of Pedagogical Sciences, mentioned that this is 100% coverage of Ukrainian territory with internet, so you can make a good use of it. Thank you, Liubov. Any further questions? Good afternoon, Volodymyr Zabaraka, Chernomorka TV company? Who will be those teachers who will run this training and education for teachers? Well, whether this will be Kievan teachers, how will you select the teachers? As far as I understand, this is functioning as a social network. How you will store the personal data of children? We do not wish to anybody to interfere in the personal writings of children. Not all people are people of goodwill. They may use it with harmful purposes. There might be also adults who can abuse children due to this personal data. Thank you for this question. I will separate the electronic space. I will say a couple of words about the electronic space of our project. This electronic network, this computer network, is divided into two spaces. The communication and electronic space, where access is only for those who are participants of it. All teachers who have access to our databases. These are teachers who provide training for senior grade students. This will be the Oblast administration. There will be pools of those teachers, and they will be teachers from this pool will be offered to run these courses for students, and students. Children will apply for the courses, and then teachers will enroll them to these courses. How this labor teachers how the teachers' labor will be remunerated, how the hours will be counted, how they will be paid. Those teachers who work with us now, we study how much time they spent, and also there is a big problem with remuneration for online teaching in schools. And the last questions I would like to add about remuneration. I hope currently we submit all these programs to the ministry, and we hope that there will be funding for these programs. A very short question to Ms. Nataliya. I've heard about this training program for children. Could you say that the next year those children in the occupied territories, whether they will be able to get Ukrainian education? This was the primarily purpose of creating the training program. That's why we now apply to the state to allocate money for the launch of this program, and the gray zone will be just the first step, and later we will cover entire occupied territories. Thank you very much. We have heard about very good project of the social Meridian, and on behalf of our Ukrainian Crisis Media Center, I would like to wish you a lot of success. I wish a lot of success to your educational program. I hope that the government would hear you and will do everything possible for successful implementation of this project. I wish you to have a good new year, and to see implementation of all your plans in the year to come. Thank you. See you next Tuesday on the framework of our spokesperson of Peaceful Life.